Good evening, everyone. This is Craft Beer Blab. I'm here with my buddy Jonah Di Pasquale, and also in the other window is Dan Blomberg. Myself, I'm Gunnar Soros, Anello Grande on the blog, as well as a video blog on YouTube. If you're catching this on YouTube or on the podcast or on the blog, please give a thumbs up, like, go ahead and comment, do whatever you can just to kind of get the message out. I do appreciate everyone stopping by and everyone tuning in. Narky commentary by Jonah. That's awesome. I love it. So, Jonah, how's things in Rochester, New York?
You know, it's actually nice. I don't know what happened. I mean, you pushed all that fantastic Rochester, Minnesota weather our way, and I actually didn't get a chance to ride my bike. And unfortunately, now my grass needs to be cut, as well as my yard and my garden. So I don't know. Not really hard to say. I guess I'm excited that the weather's nice, but now that means other stuff that takes me away from riding my bike. Although it was good beer drinking weather this weekend. I was very good at that, I must say. I knocked off a couple of my favorites. I got some Oscar Blues burrito, a burrito. That was good. I found. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
What's that?
Is that the Pilsner, Jonah?
It's a burrito is a Mexican lager.
Mexican lager. Got it.
Yeah.
I just saw that.
Excellent. It was good. Very good. I mean, very, very tasty. What else? Bear Republic Racer 5 IPA. That was excellent. I tried that. What else? I think those are the two big highlights. I think those are probably most of what took up my time. Lots of barbecue. My father does a big barbecue on Mondays, and got out the ribs and the chicken, typical stuff, beans and mac salad, and way too much food. It was good. Good. I somebody told me the other day, they said they would love to have every week start on Tuesday, and I don't know many people that would disagree with that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
it would be nice. It's one of those things you got to work. You got to work for that. So hopefully, I can get into some sort of wherever my entrepreneurial spirit takes me to be able to work only 4 days a week and have 3 days off. Would be awesome.
Right.
Jonah, are you messing around with your cam settings there, buddy?
I am.
You're slowly disappearing into the dark.
Right. It's like you just stepped into a cave or something. We barely see your face.
I know. Sorry, I'm working on it here. Sorry. I know. I was like, now you see me, now you don't. Yeah. No. I apologize. I think I'm tweaking it way too much here. Sorry. I'm gonna try to get this straightened out here. Good Lord. There, man. Do something here. I don't know. Try this out. All right. Hey,
there's some light back on you. Yeah. Now we're not expecting the jump scare like all. Oh, and now Dan's doing the effect.
Nice.
Sweet. So I came across this article today. I think it was actually emailed to me. I'm gonna pop it in the window as well as in the chat. IBU article.
We go, man.
Yeah, so this article kind of goes into a little bit about how the IBU rating, which IBUs, for those people out there that don't know, it stands for International Bittering Units. And a lot of beers have them listed on the packaging. I'm trying to see if my Todd the Axeman has it somewhere.
It should, I would bet.
I would think, but I'm not seeing it. 1 pint alcohol, ABV. Yeah, I don't see it on the can, which I'm surprised because they usually have it on there. But, I'm sure it's pretty high up there. In fact, let me check it out online. The Axeman Surly IBUs. Let's see what Google says. Google is telling me, at least Beer Advocate is saying, oh, I'm surprised they don't.
Well, it's interesting because it's essentially just the rating for how bitter a beer is, right? When you boil it down. But the interesting thing that a lot of people don't know is that a beer with 20 IBUs will taste way more bitter than a beer with 60 IBUs.
Right.
And I think a lot of people mistakenly think that a high IBU is a more bitter beer.
Right. Yeah. I will say quite honestly, I actually thought that.
Right.
I did. And that was good.
It sometimes is the case, but not always. And a lot of it has to do with the amount of alcohol in there and the hop mixture, and it's one of those things where they're trying to be scientific, I guess, in giving you the information, but it's still not really giving you a lot of information. I mean, But so this article kind of goes into how some brewers are saying it's not a really good measurement of how hoppy or how bitter a beer is, because that's the other thing, is that you could have a high IBU beer, and it could be very bitter, but not very hoppy, like all the floral and citral notes. You may not get that, and you might just get like a bitter bomb and not have some character to it.
Give us an example. What beer would you say would fall into that category?
Let me
like a red hook, like a Leinenkugels, like
trying to think of some that bumped up IBUs and were real hot bombs that didn't taste. Hey, Nicole Whitty's in the house. Nice to see you. Awesome. Hello.
Hey, Nicole.
I want to say, what is Sierra Nevada has like an Imperial fresh hopped IPA that a couple years ago was just like absolutely, it was, and maybe I had an old batch too, but it just came across as bitter and no flavors,
Sure.
Just like, and
right.
It was actually hard to drink. So I remember it was a Sierra Nevada. I want to say it was one of the Hoptimum or I can't remember, but it wasn't enjoyable, and that's one of those cases where it's so much IBU and bitterness that it took away from flavor and the enjoyment of the beer.
Right.
The other thing they kind of mention is that their fourth point is IBUs are a brewing tool, not a descriptive one.
Yeah, that last paragraph in the article, that's where you got that from, right?
Yeah,
yep.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think it shouldn't be a descriptor of bitterness or hoppiness, because I think they're two distinctive things. They need two different scales, one for hoppiness, floralness, like you were talking about earlier, Anello, or and then a separate one for the bitterness, because you can have a very hoppy, non-bitter beer, and using one scale to try and encapsulate all of that is kind of a poor thing to do, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense, and I mean it's funny how we're having this exact type of conversation, and that there's a majority of people that first of all have no idea what we're talking about, other than they don't like it, right? Or what, to your point, Dan, about are some viable ingredient metrics to pay attention to say I would like this beer. I would also agree with what you were just saying, that those are some of the particulars that I do pay attention to when I'm actually looking at trying to taste the beer for the first time. Now, that said, that's not always true. You know, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, it is sometimes deceiving where, you know, one number, i.e., one metric says one thing, and you know, taste is just like
right.
Well, yeah,
way
you're
out.
perceived of where that should taste with that IBU. Maybe it's not there because we're not really understanding the bitter versus the hoppy, you know, and that's just, it's a perceived notion of what they expected, and that is a failed expectation based off of a silly number.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think you guys hit it on the head that it gives a number, and it's almost a number for number's sake without being descriptive, and that a lot of the beer reviews that I do enjoy reading, I mean, you know, they may say what the IBUs of a beer is, but what I really look for is the descriptors of, you know, if there's again citrus, or if there's a tangerine flavor, or if there's a sweetness to it, or if it's just all aroma, or, you know, that type of thing. That gives me more than just saying, okay, well, you know, there's 99 IBUs in this double IPA. That doesn't tell me a whole lot. And then that kind of does bring me to this kind of interesting question. So, you know, it's international bittering units. So is there some sort of organization that is actually checking the accuracy of those claims? You know, so, you know, I'm brewer A, and I brew this beer, and I say, you know, I'm gonna make this beer have 125 IBUs, and I can, you know, I run my calculations, and I can say, yeah, this is 192 IBUs. Is there somebody that's going to call me out on that and say, hey, we just ran through this test, and you know, you're only coming in at 75 IBUs and not 190 like you claim?
Right.
I don't think that there is, to be honest with you. I'm Googling a bunch right now, and it seems to be self-regulated. There's not like an FDA for IBU units. It doesn't look like.
Oh, Nicole Winnie come in with big words there. A spectrophotometer.
Yep.
Spectrophotometer. I need to get one of those so that I can measure my IBUs. But yeah, no organization checks it. See, and as a home brewer, I usually go by, there's online calculators that you can use, and so I just use those for, you know, when I put my labels on. But the calibration can be off as well. No, yeah. So if there's no organization to check it, and yeah, if calibration is off, and, you know, calculations like what I use, that can be completely off. If I miss putting my hops in at certain times, yeah, everything over 99 is bogus. You know, I kind of wonder about that, because after a certain point, can you tell if it's more bitter too?
Well, it'd be more bitter the less it was, right? Not the higher.
Right. Is that, no, I think it's the higher the number, the more bitter
No.
it is, supposedly.
Mm-mm. That's not what I just read. Holy cow. Maybe I'm wrong. I swore it was the lower the number it was, the more bitter, but I might be wrong. Let's see.
No, I think that what I heard, yeah, was that the higher the IBU. Well, and then too, I've read that, say you drink, well, I mean, you go to Beer Fest and you drink a lot of bitter beers, you start to get that numbness in the mouth, and besides from being drunk. But
the link I just shared has a paragraph here that says, a beer with 20 IBUs and minimal malt character may have significantly more bitter taste than a beer with 60 IBUs and a powerful malt profile. So I think what they're trying to say, that's just one of the paragraphs from this article, but the thing that they're trying to convey is that even though it's the international bitterness unit, it's not a complete encompassing characteristic.
Right. Well, and I'll totally agree with that.
What Nicole said is, it depends upon the base. I agree.
Right, and that's where the difference comes in. But and again, it goes back to the fact that the IBU measurement doesn't really mean a whole lot. Is that what the IBUs is measuring is, I think, the amount of alpha acids in the beer, and don't quote me, I could be wrong again, but I think it's that if you put in, and I don't know the ratio, but say you put in 2 ounces of whatever hops, and then in another beer, if you have the same malt base and you put in twice as many hops at the same time, you're probably going to end up with double the IBUs, or something. The ratio may not be exactly the same, but you'll get a lot more. But yeah, the malt base, Nicole, what you said, a malt base is going to take out a lot of hoppy taste. Yeah, and that's where it's a recipe, right? So it's like baking a cake, and sometimes you bake a cake and you put in a ton of sugar, and you think, oh, this is going to be
super sweet
cake, and sometimes it's not. And it's like, oh, well, there's a lot of flavor and other stuff, and it's not as sweet as I expected it to be. Kind of the same thing. So it all depends on the recipe. Let's see, what other things have I seen lately? Oh, yeah. So I think I was beginning to talk about, there's something called, I want to say it's the lupulin shift. And it's this effect that when you're drinking very hoppy and especially bitter beers, that...
Could you spell that, Gunnar?
I think it's spelled Lupulin, shift, SHIFT. Let me see if I can find an article on it. And so what it is that, as you drink these bitter beers, your perception of how bitter it is kind of drops.
Yeah, interesting. You know what that reminds me of, Gunnar?
Mm-hmm.
I just heard a conversation on the Joe Rogan podcast about different strains of marijuana and building tolerances up to certain strains that correlates exactly to what you're talking about here with the lupulin shift. That,
right.
You can, if you continue to drink the same beer with the same hops and level and whatnot, that you will build up sort of a tolerance. I'm not saying that they're saying you're going to build up tolerance for being inebriated less, but that may be.
Right.
And that same theory goes in some of the marijuana circles with different strains of marijuana. Interesting.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and just the fact that, if you drink a lot of hoppy beers, eventually your taste buds will kind of drop off and you won't notice the hops as much. It would be like drinking those hop bombs that I said earlier that it was almost undrinkable. If I kept drinking that, then it would be like, oh no, I can't taste these hops anymore. It's just so normal.
Yep. I hear you.
Yeah, Dan K., we do feel bad for you.
Just a little.
Yeah. Not going to stop us from...
We've all been there before. We've all been in Dan's shoes right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, and what really sucks is that sometimes when you're sick and you're able to maybe enjoy a beer, but you go to drink it and it's just not enjoyable because of whatever's going on in your head.
External forces,
Yeah.
stomach issues. I've had it. I've had the H. pylori and not been able to drink beer for months and months because it just made me sick.
Right.
But thankfully that's all gone, and I'm enjoying a beer right now. Though I will say I have reduced the amount of overall beer consumption I have in favor of whiskey since then. Just the pure caloric, the less calories in the whiskey, the less sugar. Being over 40 years old, you gain weight quicker. So there you go.
No, I completely agree. And I think I'd seen an article in, I think it was Bicycling Magazine. Some guy was talking about how he was a beer drinker and he ended up stop drinking beer and moving toward whiskey and losing like 20 pounds because of it. Because of
there's just a lot less calories.
Right.
And like I'm a weird whiskey drinker. I drink my whiskey on the rocks with water. So I essentially do whiskey, ice, and then add water to it. So I'm not going to dehydrate myself overnight.
Right.
And I'm not going to get floored in 2 hours sipping on whiskey,
Right. No, yeah. I'm not a huge whiskey drinker. I have been enjoying it a little bit more. And I do like mine just kind of straight up and sipping it. I guess there's no wrong way to drink it, right?
No, I don't think so. I'm not a purist or an elitist. I think drink your whiskey how you want to drink it. Do you like it neat? Drink it neat. Don't like. Why do you got to down? He drinks it on the rocks. He doesn't understand the taste or whatever. I think that's a bunch of BS. Drink what you enjoy.
Right. No. Perfect. I love it. That's and I think sometimes as craft beer drinkers, we should kind of take that into account too, in that not everyone drinking their 40 ounce or Budweisers or whatever. If they enjoy it and they like it, more power to them. That's great. Yeah, Nicole Whitty, looking at his pictures there, that's great. Bell's Cherry Stout sounds good. I haven't had that one. Yeah, more good beer for me.
Hey, Nello, I'm going to step out for a second. If you need to cam me down, just cam me down. I'll be back in a couple minutes.
All right, no problem. So let's see here. So yeah, Bell's Cherry Stout. I haven't had that one yet. What? I know I've had a lot of Bell's. Obviously Hop Slam. The Oracle. Do they make one called Obsidian? I think I've had that one. I think I've had some others too. It was darn good. Oh, it's here. Yeah, every bar is getting it. Oh yeah, I'm sure that'll be a big one there, as well as all of Bell's beers. I think they make some great ones. Oberon is a great summer beer, being a little lighter and crisper. I haven't seen them around here, but Bell's sells the little mini kegs, and I would love to pick up one or two of those, either like the Oberon or their Two-Hearted. I really enjoy their Two-Hearted a lot of times, so that would be a nice way to get a beer. I want to say it's like, I can't remember how big it is. I'm going to look it up real fast. Bell's mini keg size. 5 liters. I think it is like those Heineken mini kegs. I think it's the same packaging, just with Bell's artwork instead of Heineken, and obviously the beer is different in it. Plus, I just like the fact that It's this little mini keg that you put in your fridge and you just tap it out and so someone did a little breakdown of the mini keg. Less waste in the environment. Yeah, you know, that's probably true. Instead of 6 bottles or however many bottles or however many aluminum cans, you got one bigger can. So I guess it breaks down to about 14 beers at $20.99. So it does come out to actually a little bit less expensive too. So if you get a 6-pack of Oberon, it's $9.89, whereas the mini keg is $20.99. Everyone needs a good skunky beer once in a while. 14-ounce regular size beers or 7 of Nicole's beer. It's Len. Nice to see you on here. Thanks for joining in. Hope you're enjoying a beer. Let me show you again what I'm drinking. Todd the X-Man. It's a collaboration between Surly and Amager Brewery, which I think, where were they from? Yeah, you know, I had this in the fridge. It was actually, I want to say it's old, even though it's not that old. It was canned on February 15th. Yeah, Surly has some crazy cans, some crazy artwork. This year they're putting out their 10th anniversary ale. I think that's coming out pretty soon. And I just saw the artwork for that. Let me see if I can bring that up. Surly label. Kill the moment. We're an iced tea drinker. That's okay. Drink what you want. Just enjoy the conversation. Okay. So Bud Light it is. Yes, there you go. Enjoy your Bud Light. So here is, that's their 10th anniversary ale label for their bottle. And let's see if I can see who it's made by. Original art by Brandon Holt. Yeah. Mad Science. It's kind of a break from some of their, well, I don't want to say, they have some crazy artwork for their anniversary ales. Not as, I guess, demonic as their darkness beers, which usually has demons and vampires and werewolves and that type of thing. So, so the artwork on that was by Brandon Holt. I think, yeah, there it is. So Brandon Holt does a lot of different types of artwork in that style. So what Surly does is they'll pick an artist for 1 year and have that person do the artwork for their anniversary ale, for their darkness, and I believe also for their Surly Fest. Coronado Orange Avenue Wit. Nice. That sounds very delicious. I'm going to have to look that up. nice to see new people coming in. Austin Kittles and Van Richards, thanks for joining in. Do appreciate it. Thanks for joining this Craft Beer Blab. Get in on the conversation. Go ahead and, if you want to chat in the sidebar there, that's fine. Or if anyone wants to grab a seat, you're welcome to do that too. Oh, he tweeting. No, nice summer beer. No, with barbecue. So not at all a nice summer beer? Or it is a nice summer beer? It does sound like it would go great with barbecue. But then, okay, it is a nice one. Awesome. Yeah, wits are typically better summer beers, aren't they? So kind of a bummer that Jonah had to bump out. I know he was having some family issues there. I do have some slight craft beer blab news. Changing the format here. So this will be the last of the weekly shows. Hey, Dan, glad to see you're back. Are there more beer drinkers than wine drinkers? You know, I don't know. I think there's probably more wine drinkers out there, but then there's a lot of people that drink both. I mean, I drink both. No, yeah, 2 times a week. No, actually go in the opposite direction. So I'm cutting back mostly to be able to kind of focus on other business things and work, and partially to co-host Jonah a little bit better on the Thursday night one. So we'll be doing the Craft Beer Blabs once a month, the first Tuesday of the month, at least through the summer, possibly going back to weekly in the fall and winter. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So kind of a format shift. Hopefully we can keep the people coming back. It's getting a little hard to come up with topics and guests and that type of stuff while also trying to work and also trying to do some side work and, you know, all kinds of other stuff. So it is kind of this crazy time of year. So did want to put that out there. So unfortunately cutting back a little bit, but we will keep doing this every first Tuesday of the month.
Do you have any idea what your next topic is going to be, Anilo? Or
I don't have a topic yet, but I do have a little more time to try to develop and get guests on board. And a lot of times, it was part of the problem was a lot of times I would have people that were interested in coming on, and then you would say, well, you know, I got, well, a lot of times the schedule would be open. I'd be like, okay, well, I got, you know, this week or anytime after. And then they would look at you like, oh, well, you know, you're just kind of nobody. Well, now I can say, okay, well, we're on in 3 weeks or 2 weeks or whatever it is, and then give them a chance to kind of get ready and prep for it and not feel like, okay, well, he's just putting me off or anything like that. So
you ought to give your guests just like 2 options. Just, hey, I can get you this day or this day. And don't let them even feel like, oh, they can just put it off till whenever.
Right.
And then I think you do that, you'll get more guests and the audience will grow, you know, and the more you can get people to come back and spread the word, the better, for sure.
Right. Is the late time slot an issue? You know, I've wondered about that too. And, you know, Blab being a global community, it's always going to be late night or early for somebody. You know, for the West Coast people, I think it's what 6 o'clock? Yeah. So they're, you know, it's almost a perfect time frame for them. They're getting off work and they're probably at home and whatnot. But then, yeah, there's a rumor that Blab will go dark in July. Uh-oh. I hadn't heard that. But, you know, I haven't been involved in kind of the Blabosphere lately just because I haven't been on very much.
Thanks, Nicole.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you. Life's been so crazy. I haven't been on Blab a whole lot. Every time I come back, there's more and more features added, and it's different. Like the interface has changed and whatnot.
Right.
But the ones I do come back for you guys here, and obviously Jonah's bicycle chat as well. I don't really follow any other Blabs particularly at all, except for the two of yours.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Sure.
The hard thing too is that since they've gone through all kinds of updates and stuff, but they took out so they made it more of a social media thing where it's like, okay, well, your friends or the people you're following are there, but there's not the search sucks and it's hard to find if you're looking for a topic or something like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you at all there.
Yeah.
Most of the times I'd come out and try to use their filters or their tags to find stuff interesting, and it would be the same thing kind of rehashed with different people,
Right.
And like a lot of folks don't follow the topic that they post that they're going to speak about, and that can get frustrating, but
Exactly. No, I agree. Yeah. You'll jump into a Blab and they're talking about something completely different than what you thought they were going to do, and that gets irritating.
yes.
Let's see here. What else? So that was the big news. Again, Jonah had to bump out. He had some family things going on. So hopefully all is well with him. I know that he's got some issues. So hopefully, if everyone gets a chance, please send good vibes and good thoughts his way, because I don't know exactly what's going on, but I'm sure he could use it. So I was talking a little bit about Brandon Holt is the Surly artist for 2015. So he's doing the artwork for their 10th anniversary ale and Surly Fest, and there's another one, Darkness. And I don't know if I've seen their Darkness label yet. Let me see if I can find that.
Yeah, I haven't seen that personally.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't look like.
Oh, I think I found some images on Surly Darkness for their label.
Nice.
I think if you go here, just this Google search I completed, it's gonna be a big ass link, but sorry about that.
No.
There's some different variants on that link in Google Images. All of them, which seem really nice. They seem pretty sweet.
Yeah. No, they do a good job. They pick a local artist every year to do their 3, I guess, seasonal or limited release. So their Surly Fest, their Surly Darkness, and their 10th anniversary. So they've already got the 10th anniversary label out, which I did put up earlier. Let me see if I can find it again.
Yeah, I think you did. I think I saw that.
Yeah, that was the green one with the mad scientist.
Yes, nice label.
Yeah, it's really cool. And Surly does do a good job with letting the artists kind of have their way with it, and then the artists do a great job themselves. So it's Darkness is kind of their evil beer. So there's always
right.
Some sort of demon or mummies and that type of stuff. But it's great stuff. Let me see here. Surly Darkness.
Nicole, thanks for looking. I'm going to do some search myself as well. You said July, right? It was July?
Tweets about the rumor. Okay.
Yeah, July.
This link has what is rumored to be their 2016 label. So the three-headed dog.
Yeah, I think it's three-headed wolf, maybe, or is it dog?
Legendary hound of 80s Cerebrus was said to guard the gates of the underworld.
Nice.
So very cool. Again, red and black and white. Web headquarters had a way last week. They said they're not shutting down.
Yeah, I'm not finding anything on that. Maybe that was just a rumor.
A rumor or something. Yeah. No, it. I like the Blab format with the people in the chat and all that kind of stuff. And I haven't tried out. I know some people have said to Google Hangouts and what's the other one? I guess Facebook Live, is it? Or some,
yeah.
But I haven't tried any of those. I like the Blab format, and I'm used to the even though they're always changing, I'm used to the interface. Plus, it just seems to kind of work, at least live. There's always issues, but
sure. Well, I think it's taken over Periscope a little bit. Blab is, and I think the Facebook equivalent is trying to do the same thing, fill that same space of real-time video interaction with people. And Facebook, well, they've got the easily the biggest audience to market to easily, so
right
they're going to gain traction in that, whether it's sold from Blab or not.
Right, Dan K says Periscope going on there before Blab. I see that because
I agree.
I think when I started Periscoping myself late last summer, but then lately I haven't used it at all. And so, I think that's kind of typical users. I think a lot of people have dropped off using it. I just don't see. I love the idea of live streaming video like that, but just the Periscope itself, it's not appealing. I don't know if did that exact same thing.
And I'll tell you, I uninstalled Periscope from my phone just because it's such a battery killer.
That's true, yeah.
I can't deal with, I'm really not paranoid, I don't know, obsessive about my battery not getting low on my phone.
Right.
And that app was consistently always chewing up the most battery out of any other application on my phone.
Right. Well, and I was excited when they announced the integration with GoPro, and it kind of made me think, okay, well, maybe now I'll get a GoPro and I'll Periscope, and it'll be easier to do that. But then I haven't done it, and I haven't missed it, and then I pretty much stopped Periscoping. So it's like, okay, well then that kind of went down. I'm sure something else will come along that may be better. I think a lot of it for me too was just the Periscope crowd, I guess you could say. A lot of the people that were on, you would get a lot of comments, but 99% of them were just, I don't know, jerks and
trolls
and just
trolls.
Basically, nobody adding any sort of good interaction. Periscope mine good for sharing, Blab better for interaction. Yeah, and see, that's what I like about Blab is the ability to really interact, and and also the ability for people to choose how they interact. So Dan K's doing the chat on the side, Dan B, you're here live on camera. It's a great way that people who feel comfortable in different ways of sharing can join in and be part of the conversation. Yeah. Well, you sit there for me, I sit there at a keyboard all day. And so being on camera is nice to just kind of kick back. And, of course, then you got to put the filter on your mouth sometimes because,
right.
Of course, I haven't had that. But Let's see what else we got. He tweeting, hanging in there. Thanks for staying on. I know that theme park beer drinker, or I think that was his name, was supposed to be on, but I don't see him here. Austin Kittles, thanks for hanging in there with us tonight. Appreciate it. So let me look at my calendar here and see when is the next
You got
show.
puppies going on there?
Yeah, my little pug is getting mad about something.
Too funny.
Yeah. Not sure why, but
I'm gonna go lay down. I'm gonna go lay down.
You're going to lay down already?
I'm tired. It's 9 o'clock.
Come here, give me a kiss. No, you can. I got your plate.
I don't want to be on that.
There you go. Okay, you're off cam.
Hey, look at you. Are you staying up late?
Am I what?
Are you staying up late?
No, not too late. Sorry about that.
no.
The wife didn't want to come on cam. She's been on cam in here before.
Yeah, she has.
Yep. But she didn't want to tonight. She's tired and wanting to head to bed.
That's all right. My wife gets the same way. So let's see. It looks like the next first Tuesday of the month is going to be July 5th. So the day after Independence Day is going to be the next Craft Beer Blab. It sounds like
So
good.
none in June then.
You know what? I guess I kind of jumped the gun because I was considering today's June, but I guess it's the 31st. So officially none in June.
Okay.
Yeah. We're going to skip June, go to July 5th, day after Independence Day. Yeah, I know. It seems like it's so far away.
It does. It seems like forever away, especially considering I haven't been here that frequently lately. So I feel bad a little bit. But
don't feel bad. Don't feel bad.
I'll look forward to your tweets about the next Blab for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think because it's the day after Independence Day, it'll be a good day to revisit both Budweiser and their America branding of beer, as well as Surly has, and they just announced today that they're canning. They have a pre-prohibition lager called #America. And I've actually had that beer before too. They had it available on tap at Surly Fest last year. So, it was a decent lager for a lager. It uses mostly corn for its base. So,
Sure.
There's malt in there, but more corn in there. And it had an interesting flavor to it. So it'll be kind of interesting to kind of revisit the American beers, so to say, for that show.
Well, you should also include a segment about dealing with hangovers on the 4th or the 5th of July.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. We'll all have the cool beers we've had over our next holiday. Exactly, yeah. So I am going to wrap this up. Again, I do thank everyone for joining in. Thank you, Dan B., for being on camera, Dan K. for chatting it up, Nicole Whitty for being here, everyone else, Jonah for being a co-host, at least for part of the time.
Cheers.
Austin, thanks again for joining in. Yes, cheers. I'm down to my last sip of my pint. Again, if you are catching this on the podcast or on YouTube, go ahead and give a thumbs up, comment, like, do whatever you can to spread the word. Tweet this out and come back on July 5th for the next episode of the show if you want to be live on air. Thanks a lot and aloha.